Not Sky Talk, we are live. It is episode 139 of the Pavis Perspective. It's an FA Cup preview, probably 3 or 4 of the FA Cup previews in total on this channel because we don't really enjoy cup competitions at all, do we, George? We're not big on cup runs at all.
Yeah, as a club, we don't seem to be, do we?
Are you?
I don't mind the Cup. I like the FA Cup more so than the Carabao, but yeah, it'd be nice to see clubs pay a little bit more respect to it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the poll question today is all about if you're bothered about a cup run this year. So have a vote. Are you desperate for a cup run? Would you like one a lot, or are you not really bothered? Myself and George will vote. May have already voted. And then we'll have a chat at the end of the show. Let's see who we've got with us this evening. Richard, first comment got in early, 20 odd minutes before the show. Will we see Jody get some minutes in the next home league game? No, I don't think at all. I don't think at all. Did you see his tweet earlier, George?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think it's that's too soon, but I think he's progressing well from what I've heard.
He's teasing us, isn't he? He's teasing us.
Yeah, I think if we see him before December, it'll be amazing. I don't think we will. I don't think we will. We've got Ian, we've got Helen, who's a channel member. Marcus is here. Callum, let's do this. He's with us. Stephen, Ken, Royston, David. Good evening. It's FA Cup time. Let's go for a bit of success for a change. Mickey, who's a channel member. Joe, Tony, Len. Richard says, my first FA Cup game was 1977. Lost 1-0 at home to Arsenal. Someone's asked if we've got an Alfreton fan this evening. May do. I mean, that puts them above Harrogate and Accrington if we do, doesn't it? So there we go. We've got Wayne, James, Colin, Fraser. Lots of you commenting already. So got a lot to talk about. Obviously got to talk about the absolute bore fest, which was Harrogate set up last weekend on Saturday. Probably maybe the worst team I've seen at Meadow Lane in a long, long time. It was 1-0. Credit to them that it was only 1-0, if I'm honest. Got to talk about that Jody tweet. Talk about the FA Cup. And then what lineup we won. And you're probably going to guess there's one player I do not want to see anywhere near Meadow Lane on Friday night or tomorrow night. There's one player that cannot be anywhere near, and I'll be gutted if he is. George, you going to the game?
I am. Are you?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Family wedding.
Shocking.
Family wedding. I know. Are you able to stream it?
No, you're not.
Can you not actually stream the game?
You can't. You can. The only way you'll be able to see it is if you're at Meadow Lane.
You'll have to FaceTime me.
I'll FaceTime, yeah. It's probably illegal, but I'm down for it.
My mother-in-law watches this, by the way. But definitely not. I'm definitely not going to watch it at the wedding. 100%. Definitely not. Definitely not. A few people saying Didsey, Crowley, Bass, the players I don't want to see there. Good guesses. Sam Slocum, Ian says. I'll see Sam Slocum there. But should we talk to an opposition fan?
Let's go for it.
Didn't have one last week because it was Harrogate. Still searching for one. And there weren't many in their way, were they? Let's be honest, for a Saturday. No. Alfreton are bringing a fair few, over 1,000. So we'll get one of them in. We'll bring Jack in then. Evening, Jack. How are we doing?
Evening, lad. You all right?
Yeah. I know we had a quick chat before, but you've outdone Harrogate and Accrington in terms of getting yourself on the show. So, and we had a few of you offering as well, which is great. But no, you're coming down to the game tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, we'll be there. Yeah. But really looking forward to it, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good following. Are you almost sold out?
Yeah, they said there was less than 100 left at lunchtime, so we'll be pretty close. And I don't know if they're offering any for like walk-ups tomorrow, but yeah, we'll be pretty close to selling out what they've given us, yeah.
Yeah, I think Knots do sell on the day at £1.50 more per ticket, I think. But that's about it. But no, it'd be good to get that. I don't know, George, what do you reckon the home attendance will be? Friday night, FA Cup, we don't do well in the Cup. What's your guess for home fans? What would be
I'd say a couple of thousand max.
Yeah, I think 3,000 would be good from our perspective. Not disrespecting the Cup, but the Cup history, which I spoke to Jack about before, was horrendous. The last time we got anywhere near a decent round of the Cup was Swansea on telling. We lost 8-1. So, not great. So obviously, Jack, we are back in the Football League now, Knots, after 4 years in the National League. And obviously, you'll know this very well. You've got the qualifying rounds. We haven't had the qualifying round this year or last year. We crashed out in the qualifying round a few years ago. But what's your run so far to this round been then? How's it gone?
It's been really sticky, if I'm honest. I feel quite fortunate to be in that first round draw. So we started in the second qualifying round at Spalding away, who were second bottom of the division below, and we went there and it was a terrible match, finished 0-0. So we had a replay against them at home on the Tuesday night, which also finished 0-0 in normal time. And in the extra time, they scored first, and it looked like we were going to crash out there, but we scored an absolute worldie with about 30 seconds to go, and then won that on the penalty shootout. And then, so we went through to the third qualifying round against Biggleswade, which turned out to be a bit of a nightmare, in all honesty. The first match on the Saturday away got called off due to a waterlogged pitch, so they rearranged it for the Tuesday night after. We travelled down, players, staff, supporters all arrived, and the game got called off again for the same reason, for a waterlogged pitch, and it was obvious to everyone there that that game was never going to be played. So third time lucky, the FA intervened, decided they should play it at our place, and we won 6-0, so we put that game to bed. And then the final qualifying round, we played Spennymoor at home, who are in the same division as us. Really good side, and they were the better side on the day, in all honesty. They peppered us, they scored, and it was this lad. But we showed a bit of quality and won 1-0, and here we are, Notts County away.
Sounds like if you had looking at like postponed games as well, you've probably not played that far off the same amount of league games as FA Cup, fixtures to get to, with the postponed one as well. But yeah, obviously an interesting cup run for yourselves. Some big wins in there, some games against teams that, like you say, spending more decent. How are you going in the league? Doing well, sat in the playoff places?
Yeah, 7th, just inside the playoff places. Had a really strong start to the season. 5 points off Scunthorpe, who are top of the league, and they'll get promoted. They're spending money what's you can't even imagine compared to the rest of the league. But yeah, we're a really good side, good strong playoff team every year at the minute. Pride ourselves on clean sheets, so I think we'll be tough to break down for you tomorrow. And as long as we keep it tight, there's always a sniff, isn't there? Always a sniff.
Oh, against us in the cup, yeah, there is. There definitely is. Obviously, it's not the case. There's been a running joke amongst fans the last few years that we've literally just thrown cup competitions by putting out weak sides. We've got Stuart Maynard now, used to be Wilstone manager. I don't think he's like that. What I think you'll see tomorrow night is a lot of youth players playing, but good youth players, not ones that are going to disrespect the cup competition. Wayne talking about, like you said, Scunthorpe, Jack. They've got Kyle Roberts that we used to have, just some ridiculous players for that division. Did you watch the cup draw live?
We did, yes, yeah.
Who were you hoping for? Well, we're not. You always have 3 or 4 teams that you want in. We're not one of them.
Well, I'll tell you. So there's 80 teams in that first round draw, and there's probably about 5. No disrespect to any other teams, but there's probably about 5 sides where we were really going to be buzzing, and Notts County were definitely one of them. Yeah, absolutely. We were seriously, and to be away as well, like a day out and everything. Yeah, we were properly buzzing when that came out. Yeah,
I think. Am I right in thinking it was one? We were quite late on in the draw.
Yeah, we were very late into draw. We were worrying. Some of the teams, what you see in pull out, you're thinking, "Oh no, I don't want to go there." But yeah, we were so pleased when that one came out. Yeah.
No, it's a decent draw, George. I was sat there thinking, not Wrexham.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'm sick of them. I could not do that. They were quite late in it as well. George, what's your take on Alfreton at home? I think it's a decent enough game. I wouldn't have liked to, be going away to another League 2 club this weekend, or even a League 1 club. Really, what's your take on it?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good fixture for Notts. I think with all the respect to Alfreton, I think it gives some fringe players a chance as well. Do you know what I mean? We've had a lot of youth players being played in some of the cup competitions so far, so it gives them something to sort of fight for, to sort of play for. So I think for Notts, it's amazing, really. It's a great, it's fairly local as well. Big numbers from Alfreton as well, which is obviously a good thing for Notts. So yeah, I think as good as the early rounds go, I think it's a decent draw, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good. I mean, I know it's a different cup competition. We play Leicester under 21s, don't we, in a few weeks? I'd much rather play Alfreton than Leicester under 21s.
Of course.
Like, who cares about that fixture?
Because who's that benefiting?
Well, it's only benefiting Leicester, really, isn't it?
Premier League clubs, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you're right. What you'll get from us, Jack, is a team that will keep the ball a lot. Not as much as we have done in past years under Luke Williams, but we'll keep the ball a lot and we'll keep it moving quite quickly. What kind of style of play will we expect from Alfreton? Because when we have opposition fans on here, you know, you've got sometimes your Bradford fans, your Gillingham, we kind of know what we're going to get because we've played them very recently or we know what's happened in the league. What will we get from Alfreton?
I think it's going to be a tough one. Like I say, you're going to keep a lot of the ball, so we're going to have to work really hard. And when we get the ball, we like to go from back to front quite quickly, quite direct in a style. Physical, we'll have a target man up front, so it'll be a handful for whatever centre halves you've got playing. And the crucial thing is about the ball sticking with him. Once that ball goes up there, he's got to. I think it'll be Jake Day who plays. He's got to make sure it sticks and brings other players, midfielders running on. So we'll be direct. It likes to go quickly from front to back, from back to front, like I say. But it's going to be crucial because I don't think we're going to get many chances. I think set pieces will be key as well because corners and long throw-ins is sort of our trademark, if you like.
Do you think that you will sit back and let us try and break you down, or will you press quite high? Because what we've had in the past is not so much this year, but it has happened this year. Once a team presses, we're not really that sure what to do.
Yeah, we're not like a park the bus side. I don't think we'll just constantly try and soak everything up what you're chucking at us. We do like to press. We've got George Cantrell in midfield, little energy box to box midfielder. He's like, once he presses, everyone goes with him, sort of thing. He's really energetic and he sets the tempo for the whole side. So if he's on a good night and he's pressing, then we will try and press you and force you into a mistake. And I think that's important to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially being a home game for you. If we get in your faces early, then anything can happen, can't it, from there?
Yeah, what I think does tend to happen in these games is there's a high chance that you'll out-sing us, be louder than us. And that can make a difference in these games. I can't remember who it was, George. A few years back, someone came to us. They packed out the Cyril, and they scored very, very early.
Was it Alfreton Town?
Belper. I think Belper scored very, very early on against us.
Screamer as well.
It was an absolute screamer. Wayne says, away it's been an issue, Tom. At Grimsby presses at home, man to man, and we made a mockery of them. We did, but Grimsby were absolute pudding that day. They've stepped up now, but yeah. Joe says he doesn't see Notts making wholesale changes. I presume there's an Alfreton run here. Do you agree with this, Jack? 3-1 Alfreton, not even a challenge? That'd be nice.
I think we're in dreamland there. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? But no, I think we're all dreaming there. No.
Two questions then, the same as I ask for league fixtures and opposition fans. So the first is, can you give us one player? I know you mentioned a midfielder earlier, but mention one player for us to keep an eye out for that's going to impress us in your.
The player I've been impressed with so far personally is winger Billy Fewster. So he came through the academy at your next door neighbours. I think he played a few first team games, and it was quite impressive. But obviously, what's happened to them in recent years, it's a bit difficult to break into that side. So he got released, come down to us, and he's just improved from last season and into this season. He's really lively. He's 2-footed, quick feet, and he'll run in behind and he will cause problems if he gets a chance to. So Billy Fewster for me has been our player of season so far, and definitely someone for you to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Is there anyone in the Notts side that you is hoping it's rested? If you're familiar with any.
Well, I think obviously what you've got up front, Jatta and McGoldrick? Is that basically your only two striker options? So one of them going to be rested and one start. So McGoldrick's always he's quality, and he's, I don't know, he's getting on a bit, but he's probably still championship quality, and he with his feet and his brain, he's a thinker, isn't he? So I think he'd cause a lot of issues with just the way he thinks and the way he drops in between the lines. I think I'd rather not see David McGoldrick inside. Yeah.
To be fair, I alluded to at the start of the show, I don't want to see him anywhere near it either. I mean, he's what, 35, 36, maybe 37, something like that. I don't want to see him play any more minutes than he needs to. I had a mini panic earlier when I was looking at the teams. You had Matt Reed last year, right?
We did. He was on the books, but he's been a long-term injury and he's gone now. Yeah.
I don't want to play Matt Reed either.
No.
Handful.
It was absolutely brilliant for us. And then he broke a bone between his neck and his spine, and basically at 38, that's game over. So it's a shame, but yeah, he was fantastic. It was a proper wind-up merchant as well. People used to just hate playing him basically. So yeah, it was a good lad. Yeah.
Yeah. And my final question for you before we let you go, Jack, is what's your score prediction?
Score prediction. Well, I'd love to go with that 3-1, what you told me earlier, but no, I can't see that. I think I'll go with me heart. I'll say 1-0 Ofton, but with my head, I'll say 2-0 Notts County. I just think it might be a step too far for us, but it'll be a good game. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
No, yeah, it should be. Jack, really appreciate you coming on a Thursday. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and appreciate it. Hopefully, you don't have to get you on for a replay because I don't want any more fixtures. So.
Well, that's not a thing anymore, is it? It's got to be played to a conclusion tomorrow, which is that's a bit of a shame for us, really. We'd love to have got a draw and then brought you back to our place, but that's one of them things, isn't it? That's the decision they've made. So.
That's good for not. I mean, that's better for the bigger teams, though, isn't it? So.
Yeah, well, it just benefits the bigger teams. Yeah, because if we do draw and then it goes to extra time penalties, I think that's a massive advantage for you, really, fitness wise. So, well, that's one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah. Cheers, Jack. Appreciate that. And yeah, enjoy the game.
Yeah, cheers, pal.
All
the best, lads. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
I completely forgot about the replays.
What
do you reckon of that? I mean, I'm in this case, I'm happy. But let's say we got through and played, I don't know, a Prem team. It's not great, is it?
I think it's sad, mate. I know at the moment it's like we would favour that at the moment, but let's say we got a team higher up, and we drew against them, and then we somehow pulled out a home fixture against a big away following. It would be big for us as well. Again, it's another one of those that favours the Premier League clubs, isn't it? I'm not a big fan of it because I like the FA Cup.
I know, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the FA Cup. I think in our lifetime it's died such a death, hasn't it? As seen as being like a really big trophy, isn't it? In England, I remember when I was like 10, like watching the FA Cup on BBC was just the best thing ever. It's just not like that anymore. It's a big shame.
Yeah, but just think back to Man City.
Exactly. Yeah, amazing. I remember that vividly. I remember the goal at Meadow Lane. I remember getting the coach from Meadow Lane to the Etihad. Just a great out, which wouldn't have happened if replays weren't a thing back then. And that genuinely is probably one of like my top 3 Notts County moments. I know we lost. Was it like 4 or 5-0 at the Etihad? But to travel away, I think it was. I'm sure it was. I want to say it was Scully. I might be wrong, but he hit the bar really early on against City when it was 0-0. And it would have been a completely different game. But them moments that I vividly remember wouldn't have happened if that was the case now. And I think it's sad. It's sad for new fans, like young fans. It just favours the bigger clubs, doesn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah, it does. I'm just reading this now. Wayne says, I remember Hawley hitting the post at 0-0.
It might have been Hawley. Yeah, it was. It was Cole Hawley. Yeah.
I'm just reading a statement that was put out in April. FA Cup replays will be scrapped from the first round next season as part of a 6-year agreement with the Premier League to strengthen their domestic competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shambles.
So the FA Cup, what percentage of the first round teams are in the Premier League?
Not
like 20%.
First round teams, not.
Oh, you know what I mean. From third round.
Third round. Yeah.
Let's talk about the from Premier League to League Two. You know what I mean.
I know this is going off topic, right? But did you see what they did for the Carabao Cup?
Go on.
They seeded. I know this is not or Alfreton related, right? They seeded the European teams so they couldn't play each other. Madness. Like crazy, mate. Crazy. But yeah, I completely forgotten about There we go. Right. As you'll see, there's no anagram this week, but we want you to give us any Halloween-related Notts players' names. So Joe says Tony Scully makes the Halloween 11, though. He does. Any good ones, let us know. Let us know. And we'll put them up as long as they're PG. We'll put them up. Harrogate then. Have you woken up from the Harrogate game? Because they were shocked. That was so... Oh, I don't know. It was so like...
Yeah, we said it in the video, didn't we? It was like a practice match, wasn't it? It was like a pre-season friendly. And I think so much with the atmosphere as well. It was Notts were dominating the ball, but they weren't really doing anything. Jody Bones. They weren't really doing anything, special, were they? There wasn't any. It was very safe, let's say. I don't think Harrogate put the pressure on us that Barrow did on the Tuesday night, and it showed really because we were just in control. And I think on another day we win that match, 3 or 4-0, all but for their keeper pulling off some really good saves. Wasn't the worst game ever, but it by no means at all was it the best. It was just one of those where you get the win, you're at home. It's another 1-0 at home. 3 points in it, you take it, but I feel like there's a lot to build off there, isn't there? For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just going to put a couple of these on. Casper Sloth, actual ghost, never actually played for us. Someone says Stone was pretty good in goal last year as a ghost. David McGoldrick, McGoldrick, and then McGoldrick. Jack Pumpkinchi.
That's a stretch. It
is a stretch. Matt Witchy is a good one. That's a super.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Winning so far. Matt Witchy. I'm a big fan of that one. The rest are good though. Jack Pumpkinchi is. I like David McGoldrick as well. That's class. Someone said, "Where's our costumes?"
I've got a mask somewhere. I'm not going to put it on there. I feel silly.
No, it'll scare some people though.
Feel silly.
Let's not scare people, eh?
Oh, okay.
You've been trick or treating.
I have, yeah. That's why I was a few minutes late because I'm not in my house. That's why I'm literally sat on a spare bedroom floor in my mum's house. Loaded my laptop up, forgetting that I've not connected it to my mum's Wi-Fi at my mum's house. So yeah, that's why I'm a few minutes late. Yeah, I've been trick or treating with my children, and my nephews.
You've been on your own.
No, I haven't.
You have been out on your own.
No, I haven't.
You've been dressed in your not shirt. You've worn shin pads and socks, and
I've gone as Matt Witchy.
Jack Ghoulish. Matt Witchy's superb. I think that's my favourite one so far. Favourite one. Yeah, going back to Harrogate, I was actually like, this is quite strong. I thought they were a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Let us know.
No, you cannot tell me, right? Any side that is in League Two can't come to Medellin and do more than they did. It was a disgrace. Like,
they didn't have a shot in the first half, did they?
It took 70 minutes to have a shot, and when they shot, it hit their own player and went out for like a throw-in. And they didn't actually have any decent efforts to. Well, there we go. Harrogate's they were an absolute disgrace. You'll get some teams that will come here and like try and waste time from minute one, or come to Medellin, not here because that's my house, but you won't have teams turn up here. But from Medellin, and they'll just waste time, or they'll show some gamesmanship. They didn't even do that. They didn't do anything. I mean, it's the most comfortable 1-0 win you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know what their objective was. I genuinely don't know, because if you come like that to play, you're not even playing for a draw, because you're never going to achieve a draw playing like that. You're never going to achieve anything. Yes, Belshaw played really well, and I know we only won 1-0. But and James says was nearly 1-1. It was, but that's because they had to change their way they.
Do you think that was the tactic though? Just keep it as low a score as you can and attack them later on when nerves are high.
Maybe
that's all I can think, because what we saw was just. I agree with what you said.
It was a disgrace.
It was a disgrace.
And like, no disrespect, you're going to see way more from Alfreton tomorrow night, and they're 2 leagues below. Like, you're not going to get another team that comes to Medellin. Like, I even think I know we're going about how bad Accrington were, right? Even Accrington are going to offered more than what they did, and Accrington and Grimsby offered more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry, I just can't believe a team in League Two came and played like that.
You have to sum it up in one word other than disgrace. What would you sum it up as?
Shambles. It was absolute from start to finish. They were shocking. And you know what? There was, and like someone said in here, I think James said, they nearly went away with a point. That would have been on par, not quite, but on par with Dagenham in the promotion season when was it Effiong scored a screamer. That would have been nearly on par. But if Belshaw isn't having a worldie of a day, we score another 2 goals at least and we win 3-0.
Absolutely.
Like, I was sat there thinking, can you imagine the fans in the away end? Can you imagine that? There must have been some sat there like, I like this one as well. That's a good one, Notch related.
George Wizard, yeah.
That's a good one. Can you say that one, George?
Jacob Bedu.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Get him straight in the XR.
What about that one?
I don't know who that is.
Kyle Wooten. Good one. But yeah, if I had to sum it up, disgrace, shambles, absolute disaster. I don't care if the manager's dad owns the club, sack him. Absolute disgrace. Disgrace. 70 minutes and then the first time you have a shot, it hits your own player. You can't do that. Honestly, you can't do that. Do you know what people are getting quite... Some people aren't liking our player ratings, George. Thinking we're being a bit generous some weeks, not good other weeks. And do you know who was brought up this week a couple of times in the comments?
Go on.
Josh Martin. Apparently I scored him too highly. I gave him a 7. People said he wasn't a 7. Footmob's got him as a 7.3 actually here. So let's just talk about. He's going to start tomorrow. There we go, James. Football is a matter of opinion. I think he was great. I think he was really good. I mean, he offers something different. Do you know what I like? Is there's no other player to me that's going to do what he does on our team in terms of shooting whenever he's outside the box. He must have had 3 or 4 shots from outside the box. I'm looking at his shot map now for the season. He's had 8 shots and 4 have been outside the box. We don't do that. So I think that's something good. He looked to take players on. He's not going to be a world beater straight away. His pass accuracy is nearly 90% for the season. Cross accuracy is decent compared to Knots. Hasn't actually been dispossessed, as in tackled at all this season. So keeps the ball moving. I just think he's positive. I just think he's a positive player that we need in our team. Well, George seems to have left me. So my opinion on Josh Martin is that he is good. He will come good. In my opinion, if Jody is back, because he put that soon tweet up, that was I think it's very, very premature to be putting that up, but we never know. Want trick or treating again?
I think I've lost connection there.
Poor.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying that I think we've got Martin until the new year. I would take him, even if Jody's back, I'd take him a bit further. Personally.
Yeah, I think give him till the end of the season, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. Just chatting earlier in the Alfreton conversation, I know this is going a little bit ahead. I'll probably start Giovanni Brown. So up front, rather than I don't want Jatta to blame. I don't want Dinty to blame personally. Let's have a little bit of a look into the Jones thing then. I think the next 2 league games are massive. I know we're talking about Alfreton, but you'd expect it to be sort of, and you'd expect it to be a decent that we get through. So we go Doncaster away, Crewe away, without Jody Jones. Okay, Crowley had a minor injury against Harrogate, but you could have put me in midfield and would have still beaten Harrogate. So, did I mention they set up? They were a disgrace, absolute disgrace to the league, mockery. They were a mockery. But how long, realistically, or do you think we are coping well without Jody, or do you think we're literally grinding out wins?
I suppose a bit of both, really. I think without Jody anyway, and the few injuries that we do have, I suppose it is a case of grinding out results. But we've still been fairly dominant in games, other than sort of Barrow away. I think we have been fairly dominant. We've just lacked in a few games, but yeah, we definitely miss him big time. For me, we miss that creative spark, don't we? Because look, against Harrogate, if we had Jody Jones in, I think it could have been a completely different game altogether. To be honest with you, I think it could have been 4, 5, 6 goals for Notts. Obviously, Crowley not playing that game as well. So yeah, we are missing him. I think we are grinding out results because there has been moments this season where it hasn't been pretty. I'm thinking, solely on points. I know I've just said it, but Barrow away, where we absolutely were so lucky to get a point from that game, weren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, that we definitely are doing what we can to get the most out of the games so far this season. But yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely amazing if we can be in and around sort of where we are now when we get Jody back. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, we've had 7 games with Jody and 7 without. Now, I mean, those 7 without have gone very, very quickly.
They have, yeah.
Not quite 7 with, if you count in, his injury in the Gillingham game, which was awful. 12 points without Jody, 14 with. The fact we've only got 2 points less without him, with more difficult games, in my opinion, away to Chesterfield. What else have we had? Away to Barrow, home to Wimbledon, who were good. Away to Carlisle, who are still they're a mess, but it's still not the easiest fixture on a Tuesday. I think we're doing excellently, but is it sustainable? I don't know, because you look at Harrogate. Yes, as I mentioned, they were disgraceful last Saturday. Disgraceful, right? But like people said, they could have nicked it right at the end. Barrow, we got away with it. Wimbledon was fairly comfortable. Got away with it against Chesterfield. It is like touch and go, isn't it? Whereas you look at the games with Jody, and they're not solely down to Jody. Battered Bromley comfortably after 6 minutes. Comfortable against Accrington. Comfortable against Grimsby. Shaky against Swindon. But there we go. I think I'm bang on with you. Wherever we are when he comes back, you just gotta aim for as many points as possible and just see where we are. Charlie says exactly what I said last week. Imagine Jones and Cerullo on both flanks. Will be, instead of having one winger doing it, you could have both and would be dangerous. Nathan says surely it's the Lucas Ness monster. That's a good one. That's a very good one. And then Mickey says Cerullo has been on it. And Richard says Cerullo has stepped up in Jody's absence. 100%. He's been fantastic. Here's a comment as well. Heard that Jones is possibly back early December if he keeps up his current progress. I hate to rush him back, but
yeah, I was gonna say that. It sort of goes without saying, doesn't it? But as much as we want him back, and I'd rather wait till sort of January if it's not going to risk him getting any further injuries, because you want the injury to heal as much as possible, don't you?
Yeah, Robbo was a recurring injury.
Because you've got to remember, yeah, it is, yeah, but you've got to remember, Jones was taking some serious, tackles, wasn't he, from opposition players. So you've got to make sure that when he's coming in, he's sort of ready to take that sort of, level of sort of battering, I suppose. Again, he can't be coming in sort of not 100% anyway, because he's got to be at full force, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, December's packed out. It's Walsall away on a Tuesday, which is not going to be easy. And then Colchester at home, you've got to expect to win. They're the games you've got to be looking and thinking, we need to be, if you want to be a team that can get promoted, you need to be winning games like Colchester at home without Jody anyway, regardless. You've then got Salford away. You know, it's not the hardest game, but it's not the easiest at all. Bradford at home is tricky. MK away is tricky. And then Walsall again at home on New Year's Day. There's some big games in there. You want him ready and firing, in my opinion. Couple of conversations in here that talking like sort of mixed about Martin and Brown. If you see the progress continuing, I mean, right now, if there's an option to extend Giovanni Brown, and he is the best available, we can't say no because we don't know when Kedwin's back. And as long as Kedwin needs to be out, you know, that's really the club and up to the club and him and however long he needs to take. And the club have already said, and the fans, they're backing 100% with that. But you've got to have a third option. I could see, I would personally, unless you've got a very, very good option, I would keep both of them because, yes, we're going to have Grant back. Yes, we're going to have Edwards back. Edwards is supposed to be very soon, I think, towards the end of this month. You've got two players that have played how Maynard wants them to play for a month, at least.
Yeah.
That's it. Brown for the season, but recall option in January. Yeah.
I think you've got players in sort of similar positions as well, I think. I think Brown's sort of probably looking to find a good bit of form and find a club where he can play football, you know, train well with the first team and things like that and fit in. And to me, it looks like that is happening. He looks like he's fitting fairly well. Looking at, you know, the people that he's speaking to, players and that on the pitch, it looks like he's sort of got a good bond with the team. And Martin as well, you know, a player that he's got a short-term contract. He's going to be looking to impress to get that extension. So, yeah, I think we've got two players that, like you say, they've been with Notts, that they know how Maynard wants to play, and they're definitely going to be hungry to improve and impress, aren't they? So I think we've got two players in like a decent position, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't get the criticism. I don't get the criticism of Brown from the game on Saturday against Harrogate. I really don't. He just offers something different. He looked better. Yes, there might be better options than him, but the ball through to Didsey, where Didsey should have scored, and all of a sudden you've got Brown, who's won a penalty against Chesterfield a few weeks earlier. Then he's getting more minutes in the tank. He would have got a good assist for that. I mean, it was a fantastic ball, wasn't it? So, yeah, Ian sent the question. We always like questions here. Here's one for you. What area would we look to improve in the January window? George? Good question, that is.
Yeah. It is a good question.
Defence is fine, in my opinion.
The defence is good. I think we've got options in midfield when coming back. I'd probably just bring in like a different type of striker, maybe. We've sort of talked about having like a nippy striker, someone who's going to be biting at the heels of the other team. So potentially that. Because I think we need to convert a little bit more. I don't think, especially at home, where we've had loads of chances and we're not sort of converting those chances. So probably a striker. But I think once Kedwin's back, we sort of have that option, don't we? But at this moment in time, I'd probably say like a small, fast striker.
Yeah, I'll probably agree. Marcus says striker. Ewan says striker. Mickey says striker. Nathan says striker with pace. Tony says hand dryers. So good selection there. Are the hand dryers better in the Pavis, or do they not do anything to them?
Yeah, I think they're better now, aren't they? I'm sure they are.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I should know that, really, shouldn't I? I'm like the emperor of hand dryers.
Richard says Marias. He's doing all right for Dagenham, you know. He is doing all right now. He's got some minutes. I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record here. I think the squad's very strong, and I know other people don't share that opinion. I think we're a strong squad. I mean, we've got an unbelievable goalkeeper. We've got fantastic defenders, Bedu, Platt, Macari. We've got McDonald that can step in. Lucas Ness is coming back to fitness. Wing backs, Cerula and Jody, great. Midfielders, Abbott's been fantastic. Palmer's getting back there. You've got Robert that can step in there. You've got Dan Crowley in this team. You've got Jatto McGoldrick. I think the squad is very strong. In my opinion, performances can only improve rather than get worse. I don't think that can happen. And I said to you didn't I? And I was having a bit of a laugh with Ben, that's been on the channel a few times on Saturday. I really think this team can do it this year. There's going to be some really difficult periods in the season, obviously. I mean, we could go away to Doncaster and Crewe and not pick up a victory, but I do think it's good. A few people are saying go for the keeper. I get that. I do get that. I mean, if Bass is injured, then what?
Yeah, we're in trouble, aren't we? I think if Bass gets injured,
I think they'd use the loan market for that, and I think they've probably got 3 or 4 names on a loan market list already. We've only got a few. I think you can have one or two more spaces on that loan player. Mark says, "What if Crowley goes in January?" Don't see it. All we need to do to keep Crowley in January, in my opinion, is stay in and around the top 3. Don't fall out of the playoffs in the next couple of months. So, I think we're okay. Let's see what else. There's a question here, George. Charlie says, "What would you guys do with Marias?"
I'd leave him be.
Yeah,
I'd leave him be because I think, look, he's been put out on loan for a reason. Do you know what I mean? He's probably a little bit off where we want him to be for League Two, and if he's doing well in the National League and he does well all season in the National League, I think he has another year left on his contract. We could potentially get a fee for him at the end of the season. Nothing massive, but it probably covers the cost of maybe what we paid for him. So I would leave him be because I'm not convinced that he could probably do the step up into League Two.
No, we haven't seen anything that suggested that, have we? James said, "Goalkeeper is outside of the loan allocation. You can always bring in a loan keeper if you need one on an emergency." I think if Bass got injured, then our situation is Slocum, and they'll say if there is a recall option for Aidan Stone, I don't know if they would allow us that emergency loan. I'm not sure. Maybe they would. So there we go. Wayne, the issue for bringing in a quality striker is that most of the time we play with a 1. So what can we actually get that's better than Dizzy or Jatta? Because nobody wants to be third choice. Agree. I quite liked how I played Dizzy and Giovanni Brown behind Jatta against Harrogate. That worked nicely, I think.
I think we are very heavily reliant on Didzy as well at the moment, and it's all right now while it's working and he's not picking up any injuries. But I think playing someone of Didzy's age, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Didzy will pick up an injury or not. He could play the rest of the season, every game, every minute, and he'd be fine. But obviously, someone of that age, the risk is higher of getting an injury, isn't it? So I think to ease a little bit of the pressure on Didzy would probably be a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Also, can you imagine playing Crowley and Didzy behind Jatta would be good, I think, as well. It would. Yeah. Right, let's go for our lineups then. And it's going to be changed. I'll go Slocum in goal. I just don't see a benefit to having Bass in goal tomorrow night, really.
Yeah.
I would then have a back 3 of Lucas Ness, McDonald.
Yeah.
And Ness, McDonald, and Cundy, I think. What would you go?
I'd probably keep Macquarie in there, but we'll stick with your first 2. So McDonald and Ness, yeah.
Wing backs, I would go Martin again.
Yeah.
On one side and Gordon on the other. So Gordon on the right, Martin on the left.
Yeah, I agreed.
Midfield then. Someone said, what's happened with Austin? Maynard said he would back, ready for Alfreton. So I will go my midfield. I'm going to go
Palmer.
I'm going to start Palmer, but only playing 45.
Okay.
To get in there. Then I'm going Austin and Palmer together.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably play someone like Reynolds.
Okay.
And then I would go... Yeah, I'll go Reynolds. And then... I'm not sure. Not sure who else.
Obviously, for me, Jatta has to be in there.
You'll start Jatta?
I would start Jatta, yeah.
I wouldn't have Jatta or Dizzy play. I'd have Jatta on the bench.
So you've got 2 remaining players left. Who are you starting?
Giovanni Brown starts up top.
Okay.
And then I'm debating maybe another youth player. Maybe, I don't know. Charlie says need to start Madu Cisse. Yeah, Sanderson. Ian said I don't think we're going to see much of Sanderson. I don't know. Maybe I'll play. Maybe I'll play a midfield of Palmer, Hinchy, and Reynolds, and then push Austin a bit further forward. Ewan says Cundy is a striker. We don't want to embarrass them, Ewan. That'd be 4 or 5 at least in the first half, wouldn't it? Charlie says need to start Madu Cisse. I'd take that as well. But you're starting Jata.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to say Giovanni Brown and Jata.
I just think, I don't know. I just think that's not. No, it's not for me. I think what if one of them picks? I know you could say that like we could rest Didsey and then play him against Doncaster and he gets injured 5 minutes in. It's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah, Gil could be an option.
Yeah.
Here's a prediction, George. Now, how many youth players or academy products are we going to see starting tomorrow?
Starting probably, I'd say max 1.
I think honestly, I think 3.
Starting.
No, 2 starting. Actually, yeah, 2 starting. How many do you think in the squad? Like 5.
Maybe 3, 4.
So it's going to be 2 starting and 5 in the squad.
Okay.
Definitely.
So where are they in the squad then? You saying
couple starting and then the rest on the bench?
Who?
Well, you're going to have Reynolds in there. 100%. You're going to have Cisse.
Yeah, starting. They 2 starters.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think we're going to see much of Sanderson, you know. But he might be there or thereabouts. Gill's going to be in there somewhere, I think. And I'm not sure. Muir, maybe. But there we go. A lot of people saying they want a strong team. Want stronger than predicting. I think even with the team I predicted, we should be able to beat Alfreton. But they're going to be well up for it, aren't they? Well up for it.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are.
Wayne says, please not Gill was abysmal against Northampton. Yeah, but that's different quality in my opinion, Wayne. I think,
yeah,
you know, should be much better. We were shocking on the whole in that game. Really, really poor. So, George, score prediction should be an interesting one. What are you going for?
So I'm going to go for a 2-1. I do see Alfreton scoring, but I do see us winning 2-1. I'm going to say Giovanni Brown to get 1 and Palmer to get a goal from outside the box.
I'm going to say 2-1. I think they will score. I think we'll go 1 up. They'll equalise and then we'll score again. I don't think it'll be a late win or anything, but I think it will be, second half goal. I think Giovanni Brown scores, and I think Sam Austin, if he's back in. Royston says can't afford to lose. I agree. It doesn't matter what game you play, you don't want to lose. You want to keep momentum. Let's see what people have got then. We've got 3-0 Knots. We take it seriously. 2-1 Knots. If we play a weakened team, we've got 2-1 Knots. We've got 4-0, 2-1, 2-1 Austin and Jata. Knots on pens. David says 4-2. Austin always scores in the cup. Great player Austin is. We've got a 4-1 Knots. We've got a 5-1 Knots. You know, it'd be really good. It'd be really good to keep another clean sheet with a changed defence.
Yeah,
clean sheet against Harrogate and against Wimbledon. And if I'm thinking right, haven't we only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 league games, which for Knots in League 2 in the last few years is incredible. We've got 4-2, 3-0 at half time and concede 2 late. Callum says 12-10, absolute rampage game. Everyone's going to score on kicks and returns for a hat trick. We could announce them at half time like Woking did. 2 more then. We've got 3-0, Jata, Muir and Reynolds. And we've got 3-0 there. Plenty of predictions. Yeah. You know, it's going to be an interesting game. I don't want to be back on here next week talking about a loss. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
George, what was the poll results? You got them all.
the poll results. Let me have a quick look. So, how badly do you want an FA Cup run this season? It's not letting me vote.
You've not voted.
It won't let me. Look, can you see it?
Shambles. Do you want me to have my... That's poor from you. Right. Desperately gets
No,
30.
evidence. Not let me do it.
That's poor. Because we're trick or
Don't know
treat.
why.
Desperately gets 36%. A lot gets 44, and not bothered gets 20. What were you voting for?
A lot.
Yeah, I've put... I'll be honest. I'm going to get pelted with this. I've put not bothered.
Really?
Yeah. I just want us to... I think we've got a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries already.
Mm.
You know, Jody, Grant, Edwards, Robbo. I just don't... Yeah, it's going to change my tune when I'm in. We've got Manu at home or something because we've got through a few rounds of the cup. I'm not saying I don't want a cup run. I'm saying if you offer me a cup run now, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But if we lose tomorrow, I'll be more bothered about losing to Alfreton and losing a bit of momentum than being knocked out of the cup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, good point.
But very good point from Len, who said prize money. Prize money can transform from like League 2 below, can transform your season. It could be the difference between getting someone in January or even at the end of the season. So yeah, I'm not too bothered. But Richard says, imagine a Premier League team at home in the third round. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to change it to a lot. I never even said not bothered. So there we go. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What it is.
Right, if you go into the game, enjoy. If you're an Alfreton fan, come to Med Lane, enjoy, but not too much. I'll be keeping tabs on the score. George will be at the game. If you see him, give him a little wave. George will wave back at you. Be really nice. And they can tell us about it next week. George, very quickly, how are we progressing with the mugs? They're in full flow, aren't we?
I've painted half of one.
Ah, that's smashing. That is smashing.
So, at the current rate, that took me about a month. So current rate, you're talking 2027 maybe.
That's it. People will be there for it.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there. But no, they are progressing very, very well, and hopefully have those to be given away very, very soon. Yeah, if you go and enjoy the game, please leave a like, comment anything else you can think of after video, and as always, please subscribe to the channel.